Emergency unemployment benefits are in danger of running out for over 20 million Americans if Congress cannot agree on a second COVID-19 stimulus package. Lawmakers have just around a week to do so, and like many things in Washington, Republicans and Democrats can't seem to agree on what should be in it, except funding for schools. Rebecca Rainey is following the story for Politico, where she also covers employment and immigration. And Rebecca joins me now from Washington. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome. So what happens when the current coronavirus relief bill expires?
So I'd also just like to add, based on what you prefaced there, it seems at this point, regardless of what Congress does, even if they do hammer out some sort of a solution, that these benefits are going to lapse unless they were somehow able to agree at extending it at $600 before Saturday evening, because even while the CARES Act stipulates that they end on July 31st, most states end their weekly benefit payments on Saturdays and Sundays. So most people are actually going to see those benefits run out this weekend. And with the current trajectory things are going on the Hill, it doesn't seem that Congress will be able to step in and prevent those from lapsing. And once that happens, because the unemployment insurance system is a state-administered system, states are responsible for setting what the maximum weekly benefit will be. So, for example, in Florida, the maximum weekly benefit is $275 a week. So once the $600 goes away, their income is being reduced by more than half, almost 2/3. And I think it's really important to note as well that regardless of what Congress does, even if they are able to agree at some lower figure, there will still be a lapse in benefits because states must reprogram their systems. And I'm sure you've heard anecdotally about all of the issues that workers have been having in general, just getting through to get their applications through, because these are really antiquated systems that are not prepared for this level of unemployment.
So time is has already run out, so to speak. But in terms of what Republicans and Democrats are grappling with in any kind of new package that might be approved, what are their main points of contention? I mean, my understanding is Republicans are not only at odds with Democrats about the next relief package, there are even, tensions between Republicans and the White House over what should be in this package.
Yes. There seems to be a little bit of a rift over the payroll tax credit between Republicans. And while when it comes to unemployment insurance, the Trump administration and Republicans seem to be in agreement that there should be an extension of benefits, however, not at that $600 level. Yesterday, during a coronavirus briefing, President Donald Trump mentioned that they were considering capping it at 70% of a worker's wages, or where they would calculate, 70% of what you were previously making. For reference, a typical unemployment benefit in most states is about 40 to 50% of what you would have been making at work. However, as I mentioned earlier, with the issues state systems have because they are so antiquated, calculating such a benefit, experts are telling me programming a system based on a percentage or share of someone's prior income would take months to implement, as opposed to a flat benefit like what we've been seeing with this flat $600. So I think it's, Republicans are really opposed to extending that $600 because they argue workers are making more on unemployment than they would be at work. However, unless they do a flat benefit, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to implement, the kind of system that they have been suggesting.
And so, Rebecca, what do you see as the potential impact of this relief package or this non-relief package, whatever the case may be, on the upcoming election?
Well, I mean, this is all landing just weeks even before people will be going to the polls. So if people are seeing their incomes, and again, it varies by state, but the amount of income drop that workers are going to see from the $600 lapsing, as it will. It will drop some workers' incomes from 50 to 80% who are unemployed. And as we've been seeing with the recent upticks in new cases, it is clear that things are not necessarily improving. We are still seeing heightened claims for unemployment above 1 million, which is twice what we saw during the peak of the Great Recession. So people are very concerned about what the future of the economy is and are raising a lot of questions as to why Congress is considering reducing this payment at a time when things don't seem to be getting better.
Right. All right, Rebecca, I just want to pivot for a moment to immigration, since that's something you also cover. And I want to get your thoughts on the president's executive order attempting to stop the counting of undocumented immigrants for the census, something that is outlined in the 14th Amendment. So what do you think is behind this move, and does it have any chance of being enforced?
It is definitely being challenged in court, and it's been kind of a mixed bag reaction from the federal courts on the Trump administration's immigration moves. So in this case, I feel like this may be an effort from the Trump administration to try and stoke some of those, anti-immigration, coals that they see within their support. And so this may just be a last-ditch effort before the election to try and do something on this, considering some of the recent decisions coming from SCOTUS regarding DACA, and also some of the limitations on finishing up the border wall, really. This may be one of the last few attempts the Trump administration has to really change policy in a way that involves immigration before the election.
All right. Well, Rebecca Rainey, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.